In previous videos, we've set up the basics of our email list. We have created a template so that we can have an overall look and design of our newsletter, and then I've shown you what to do to actually send a newsletter to your list. But of course, so far we haven't got a list. We need to build a list of our customers and potential customers, and the bigger that list the better, so that we can send our newsletter to them and it brings more people in to our restaurant. Now, there are quite a few different methods you could use to build your email list. The method I use most with my own restaurant clients and that works the best with them is a viral prize draw. So effectively, you as the restaurant would offer a prize of, say, a meal for two plus a bottle of wine, and we would offer that as a prize draw, and people join the list, they join the prize draw, and of course that puts them into your newsletter list at the same time. And that, when I've talked about some of my clients that have 8,500, 9,000 people on their list, that has been built over a period of time by doing prize draws, and it is a superb way of doing that. But what we're going to look at now is a way that you can actually do straight within your GetResponse account, and a way that you can actually have a sign-up form that you can add to your website. So when people see that, they see something that says join our newsletter for special offers and news about our restaurant, for example. So to do that, in the GetResponse account, we come to the Create button at the top, and then we're going to click on Create Form. So GetResponse actually gives you a number of ways that you can use to build your list. One of them is here called the List Builder Wizard, and the other one we're going to look at today is the List Builder Apps. So List Builder Wizard will give you a chance to create a box like this that you can put anywhere on your website. There are different options here. So for example, you could click on the newsletter sign up ones, and that's actually reduced the number that appear down here, but it gives you these boxes all in different styles, different colours, so you could choose one that actually fits with your own website. I generally, when I use these, will use something like this free newsletter one, and you can just have it's just a white box, or you can have it as any colour you like on the background, or even transparent background, and just have that so that it will allow people to subscribe to your newsletter. So you can choose any of those that you want. There are different colours, different shapes and sizes. So for here, look, you can choose 220 by 300 pixels. You could choose wide ones, so if we wanted to have one that was a wider shape like that. So lots of different options there, and you basically just choose the list that you want to add this to, so obviously your newsletter list, and change any of the colours, and it then gives you a bit of code that you will put onto your website. The other option, the one that I'm going to show you now, we'll have a look at, is their list builder apps, because I think these work particularly well. And they give you a number of different options here. You can click into each one and see what it will do for you. We're going to look at this one called the Shake Box. So I'm just going to click into there now. So what happens with this one is you create this, you get the code, you add it to your website, and when anybody goes onto a page on your website, effectively they'll see a box that looks like this that says don't forget to sign up for our newsletter, it's free and the shaking will stop. Now you can change, and I'll show you how to change this wording, but the idea being it's a simple way for people to see something, and what actually happens is this shakes on your website like this. So when they get on the site, it shakes. If they don't want to join your newsletter, they can just click no thanks. But alternatively, they will put in their details, click subscribe, and they're straight away added to your newsletter list. So if you wanted to use this one, all you'd actually do here is complete these settings at the bottom of the page. So form name here would just be, for example, it's just a name for your own benefit, so it could be Olivia Shake Form, for example. You then will choose, if you've got a number of email lists, which one you want people to be added to, as is the Olivia Dining newsletter. When we first set up our newsletter, we talked about whether you had confirmed double opt-in or not. We decided not, so we're having that switched off. Then, if you've already built some messages that you want them to receive when they sign up for your newsletter, you could have that set up here so that they will automatically get the first one that you've set up. Normally for a newsletter you'd have that switched off, so we'll do that there. Don't need the consent fields. And then you would just say whether the background of this you want to be transparent or to have a light or dark option. You can choose on that yourself. The delay. Now this is when somebody comes onto your website. Do they see this form straight away, or do you want there to be a delay before it will appear? And you can choose that number of seconds that there is a delay before it appears. Then also display frequency. Now this is, instead of this just appearing every single time when somebody comes onto your website, which would be always, do you want it to only appear, say, once every day when they come to your site, once every 3 days, once every 7 days, etc. So this means if you don't want it to appear every single time somebody comes on there so that it looks like you're badgering them to sign up too frequently, you may say you'll only have this appearing once every 3 days, for example. So that means if I came to your website now, I would see it straight away. But if I then came back to your website again in 2 hours time, tomorrow or even the day after, I wouldn't see this appearing again. It would only appear after another 3 days, and then 3 days after that, for example. And that's obviously for each individual person. It would only appear once every 3 days for that particular person. So those are all your settings. If you want to change your wording on here, you can obviously do that. So you could put sign up for the Olivia Dining newsletter. In this box here you might put receive free offers and goodies from our restaurant or something along those lines, and then it's just having their email address for them to sign up, and it says subscribe now. You might want to change that to say join now or something like that, and that's all you need to do. Once you've done those, you click save and publish, and it then gives you a little bit of code here, and all you need to do is copy that code. Obviously this would be the person who deals with your website and makes changes on your website. They would need that little bit of code, and they will simply drop it into the coding of your site, and then when that's in there, every time somebody comes to your website, or depend on this frequency that you've set up, they will see this. And so you will then get people, when they fill that in, they're added to your newsletter list, so whenever you send out a newsletter, they will receive your newsletter. So that's just one of those methods. As you can see, there are others here as well. Sign up box is pretty much the same, but actually just doesn't have the shaking feature to it. Fixed bar is another one you might want to use, and this gives a bar that either goes at the top of your website and stays there all the time, or at the bottom of your website. So again, it could say free newsletter, sign up now for free offers from our restaurant or something like that. So similar thing, you would just change anything you want to. You can change the colours, you change the wording, all those sort of things. You can change those on there, change where it goes at the top or the bottom, etc. So that's the fixed bar. You've also got another one which is an exit pop-up. If you go into that one, they will only see this when they start to leave your website. So when they start to exit your website and come off it, this will then pop up saying leaving so fast, and again you can change all the different details on there, get the code for it and add it to your site. You'd only ever want to use one of these at a time, so you could have a look through, see which each does, see which is most appropriate for your own website, and then go for that one. So those are just a few methods that you could use, and little gadgets, little widgets that you could add to your website and give people a reason to and an easy method to sign up for your newsletter.